Our sign language interpreter is Lensa Odingo. Our socials at KBC Channel 1, and my Twitter handle is @Tomboya24. The state has ordered a Shanzu court to charge 65 persons rescued from the Shakahola forest with attempted suicide, believe it or not, after staging a hunger strike. Senior Principal Magistrate Joe Omido heard that the individuals who were rescued and taken for counseling at a center in Mtwapa threatened to starve themselves to death. Monday, 10 more bodies were exhumed from the Shakahola mass graves in Kilifi County, bringing a total of recovered bodies to 284 since the exercise began. Kamche Meza with that story.
Bundled in a police truck and a police Land Cruiser, the 65 men and women who had been housed at a center for counseling after being rescued, emaciated from the shackles of Shakahola terror, were taken to the Shimolatewa prison. This is after the state directed a Shanzu court to charge the individuals for attempted suicide after refusing to eat.
They will be required not to answer to the charges, and we shall be giving the reasons.
The prosecution urged Senior Principal Magistrate Joe Omido to issue an order directing the medical officer in charge of Shimolatewa prison to forcefully feed the striking 38 women and 27 men.
Kwanza nipate kujua kama kuna yule ako chini ya miaka 18 kwa wale nimewaita.
They were, however, not required to take plea, with the state asking the court to make further direction later. The exhumation exercise at the Shakahola mass graves continued Monday, with 10 more bodies being retrieved. The total now stands at 284. 19 bodies have been identified by family members, as 613 people are still reported missing.
It's important for us to hear. It may not necessarily be.
And as the Senate Ad Hoc Committee hearings on the proliferation of religious institutions in the wake of the Shakahola killings continue, the Supreme Council of Kenya Muslims proposed the enactment of religious crimes.
Crimes that are committed in the name of religion. Because, if you look at most of the things that has been done, you realize that Mackenzie and Budrogo and others were using the same books, holy books that are actually being used by you and I and every other person here. But what do? They selectively read that book and give different meaning.
What kind of punishments do you think we should recommend? Because assuming Paul Mackenzie has committed what we call religious crimes, his radicalization and teachings have killed many people. So what kind of punishment do you think?
When you talk about crime committed in the name, because the state is not Islamic state, you cannot punish using the Quran. So what you need to do is that this person has gone outside the religion. There are legislative authorities and laws which are created by the government.
SUPKEM also blamed the state for what it termed as discrimination.
So it is better that we are saying these things ourselves and telling and talking to you so that you can actually find a way of how do we get out of this place. Because it is true, if Mackenzie was a Muslim today, Mackenzie would have not been in court. But we are just saying, Chair, what we have been going through in this country. And I think it's unfortunate that we are comparing it, but I believe that we are comparing it for good. We actually want to have something good for every one of us. We must find a better way of dealing with crime. If it is a crime, let it be a crime.
While calling for religious freedom, the leaders acknowledged the need for proper mechanisms to facilitate the same. Kamche Meza for Prime Edition.